So, back for another VGC guide, and this time we are looking at Enamorus. You've got to have a significant reason to use this over Fluttermane, because Fluttermane is as strong, and way faster, and way specially bulkier, and Enamorus is not way more physically bulky than Fluttermane to justify it for that reason. Like, it's still entirely frail on the physical side. So, the main thing is that it gets Tailwind. Like, Tailwind's going to be able to double your speed, something that Fluttermane can't do. Fluttermane can go for Icy Wind and all that, but Tailwind is the main reason you'd have Enamorus over Fluttermane. You're not going to be that bulky, so you might as well just go offensive with the Life Orb, do as much damage as you can. Moonblast is going to be doing some significant damage. Earth Power is very nice coverage as well. So, Tailwind is the big thing you'd want to use this for. These are some other options to use on this set. This is not a recommended moveset, these are just other options. Dazzling Gleam is a good way of using spread. Absolutely do not use Springtide Storm, it is not worth it. There is a 100% accurate spread attack right here. It's a bit weaker, but it's way more consistent. Do not use Springtide Storm, it is not worth it in the slightest. Terra Blast is worth considering if you are Terra Flying, because then you actually get some stabs, just like the other genies. Terra Flying, Terra Blast is worth considering on Enamorus for sure, but then you sacrifice a good defensive typing like Steel, but Terra Flying would be perfectly fine as well. Mystical Fire is a pretty cool attack to be able to hit Steels as well, but the main Steel type in this format is going to be Heatran, and that's immune to it, so you might as well be Earth Power instead. But Mystical Fire is worth considering because you do get a little bit of control with the special attack drop. If you are Mystical Fire, you should probably be Fire over Steel, because then you get stab on your Mystical Fire as well. Calm Mind is worth considering, but absolutely change to Cute Charm before you are Calm Minding, because Contrary Calm Mind would be very, very bad indeed. Contrary is a thing to point out as well. Like, it's worth it on Enamorus for sure, but I see it more as you can't Icy Wind or Snarl me, because then you'll get the boost instead. Because there's only one real way of making use of the Contrary, and that's with Superpower, and you need to go physical with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You're sacrificing your 135 base special attack to go with the physical instead, which is fine. 115 is not bad, but then you have to use an inaccurate fairy move in Play Rough as well. So this is fine, but it's the only real way that Enamorus has itself to activate Contrary. You obviously got like Eerie Impulse into yourself with Thunderous and like maybe Scary Face and all that stuff as well. You can Fake Tears yourself, Screech yourself, whatever. But Enamorus doesn't really have a way of activating itself, so it's more of a deterrent to go for Icy Wind and Snarl, in my opinion. Another way of deterring Icy Winds would be having the weakness policy. So, Enamorus is pretty frail, but like with the genies, if you bulk it out, it's going to be able to survive a lot of hits. But this much investment is needed to survive an Ice Spinner from Chien Pao. Basically everything. So, you'll be able to activate your weakness policy and do some massive damage, and because you've got Tailwind, you don't care too much about your speed, but you need the weakness policy activated to actually be able to do some significant damage, because otherwise, you're not going to cut it. Because you have to put all the investment into defenses, you've got none left over for special attack, so you're going to be pretty weak. Therefore, that's why I recommend the weakness policy, because you'll actually be able to survive some hits, then you'll be able to do some significant damage. But for the most part, it should really be a Fluttermane. Fluttermane does most things that Enamorus wants to do, but better. Tailwind is the big one. Contrary, like spam your like status moves on yourself, is also a big one, and it can go physical. But otherwise, probably should just be Fluttermane.